Let's get into the Bitcoin chart before we discuss all of that. So Bitcoin still hasn't hit the 200-week moving average. The RSI on the weekly, I'm noticing, is starting to curl up a little bit here. It looks very similar to me to this period here. Now, if that is the case, it's possible that we end up coming a little bit lower in a few months, and then we get maybe a bullish divergence, right? So if we are tracking this, yeah, a lot of people say we're tracking the 2022 bear market. And there is some truth in that, but it's not totally correct. And I'll tell you why. The 2022 bear market took a lot longer for us to go from the 50-week to the 200-week. In 2022, we hit the 200-week in June of the midterm year. This time around, we've hit the 200-week. I mean, we haven't hit it, right? But we've almost hit it by a hair, by a small margin. We've almost hit it in February. Now, I'll grant you, we haven't officially hit it. But if you look at where we were in February of 2022, you'll see that we were an awful lot higher compared to the major macro moving averages. The 4-year moving average, the 200-week moving average. We were a lot further away from it during February of 2022. So that just puts into perspective the velocity of this bear market, how quick it's been, how fast that move from the 50-week to the 200-week has been. So if we are following 2022, we're actually ahead of schedule by quite a few months. We're actually ahead of schedule by maybe 3 to 5 months. That's how quick this bear market has been. We are 3 or 5 months ahead of schedule if you follow the velocity of the bear market. So if that is the case, then probably what's going to happen, if we're following it, I mean, it's not guaranteed that we follow it completely, but if we are following this somewhat, what's probably going to happen is we get a bit of a rally here in the coming months. Could be up to 80 to 100K. I think it's more likely to be towards the 100K region than the 80K region. But we're going to get a rally in the next few months, and then potentially we will come back down. Now, the million-dollar question is, will we come back down and get a higher low, maybe 74K, maybe 70K is the higher low, or will we come back down and actually make a lower low? Now, I know it sounds crazy and absurd to people, but I actually believe it would be more bullish on a long-term sustainable perspective if we make a lower low than if we make a higher low when we come back down later on in the year. I'll say that again. I believe for a sustainable rally going forward, it would be more healthy if Bitcoin makes a lower low at some point later on in the year than if it makes a higher low. Now, that lower low does not have to be in Q4 because, like I said, we're already ahead of schedule. So it's possible that we make the lower low in the summer, let's just say. And then it's up from there. So that's my take on the market right now. I do think there's going to be quite a big counter-trend rally to come. Really what we need in the short term is a weekly close above 74K. I said that last week. We didn't get it. People were getting super, super bullish last week, and I said very clearly to you guys, we need a weekly close above 74K for me to get my bullish hat on again. Right now, I'm still neutral. Long term, I'm very bullish. Short term, I'm pretty neutral until I can see a confirmed weekly close above 74K. If we get that, structurally, that's a huge improvement. We're now more into maybe purgatory or no man's land as opposed to being in bear market territory, right? Anything below 74K, I consider bear market territory. Anything above 74K, maybe it's not the bull market territory, but it's at least purgatory. It's at least somewhere in between the two. Somewhere in between heaven and hell, if you think about it that way. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Bitcoin.